Hey everybody, Resident Loser Jeremy here. Today we're going to talk about if you're opening a recording studio, starting a commercial location, starting something in your home, what DAW should you choose? So what is a DAW? A digital audio workstation. Something in the digital world on a computer that will let you record music, edit music, write music. Something working with music in the digital world. Ta-da! So just in case you don't want to watch the whole video to find out what my answer is, I'm going to give it right now. It doesn't matter! But let me go on to explain my thoughts behind that. Now, this is one of the things you'll find the most frustrating if you start to do any amount of research, getting onto any forums. One thing you'll come out with, besides being incredibly frustrated at the armchair professionals, is there is no perfect DAW, and that's completely true. There is no one perfect DAW, and we really shouldn't even be asking the question of which DAW is the best. There is no best DAW. That's like asking, what's the best color I can paint my wall? Or what's the best shoe size? It doesn't make any sense. It's such a personal choice. There's so many factors that play into it. How big is your foot? From the standpoint of telling somebody else how they made a wrong decision or how this one's better than this one because blah blah. It doesn't. You have no idea what that person's doing. It's a silly thing I can't even wrap my head around. But what we can talk about is how to make the decision of which DAW is best for you. So to start this whole thing out, I know the comment section could easily, very quickly become a jungle, and I don't want that to happen. So I want to try something. Instead of going down to the comment section immediately, and I'm sure there's people who just looked at the title and they're already down there typing, but for the rest of us, how about we try something like this? Talk about the DAW that you use, and then in a positive light, say something you like about it. To help those who are on the fence, maybe they'll see something or read something down there that they weren't aware of, and that'll help them make an educated decision of what DAW to go with. But let's try to avoid saying, well, this DAW had this before anybody else. Let's not even use the light of comparing these DAWs. What do you like about the one that you use? And then let's go from there. Let's see if we can make this a positive comment stream. Let's see if we can change it on this one. It's up to you, internet. So if you've watched any amount of my videos, you know I'm a Pro Tools boy. And I know there's a whole lot of negativity that can come with Pro Tools, and there's definitely the opposite side of it. There's some snobbery from some individuals. If you don't use Pro Tools, you're not worth, whatever. There's people on both sides of it. I think both sides are really, really silly. Ultimately, when it comes to software, it's a tool. And especially if you're in this as a business, use what you know. If I were picking a DAW right now, I would probably not pick Pro Tools, but I'd go with Pro Tools because that's what I learned on. I was taught by a lot of engineers, a lot of really cool tricks in Pro Tools, things that I could probably do in other DAWs very easily given the time, but that's just the thing. I run a business. I would rather be taking that time to make money and work rather than learn a new DAW. Do I hate the fact that I have to pay a subscription every year for Pro Tools? Absolutely. But I'm happy to pay that subscription because I know how to use it, and the time that I'm not spending learning another DAW, I'm making that money back in speed and being able to do more projects better because I'm working in an environment that I'm comfortable with. And the fact that I have other engineers that come in and use this space, I send files to other people, I get files from people. A whole lot easier to do collaborations with individuals who in the industry frankly are just using Pro Tools because it is quote unquote that industry standard, which that may be changing. It's kind of like the first language that everybody knows. So Pro Tools is just what a lot of people use. If I were going to start over, I probably wouldn't go with Pro Tools. If I were starting from ground zero, I would probably grab something like Reaper because I know it's very similar to Pro Tools. A lot of the principles apply. And in any DAW, a lot of these principles will apply, but Reaper can be free for so long. A good example, the software I use to edit these wonderful videos. I'm a total amateur when it comes to video production, but some of you have commented on my color grading saying how good it is. I think I'm just getting lucky. Let's be honest. I just landed on a style that you happen to like. I think a lot of people who actually know color grading would probably probably look at my stuff and go, ooh. Whatever the case, I don't pay for video editing software. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. It's totally free. And yeah, that same level of professional software can be had in the audio side. Any number of these DAWs you can try out and you can see. Each one has kind of its own pro and big con. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of that here because that's not what I wanted this video to be. There are hundreds of videos that compare DAWs. And if you go into those videos looking at them through the lens of, I want to figure out what I'm going to use this for, and then pick your DAW, that's how you should go about this. YouTube does not need another explanation of the differences of DAWs. I wanted to speak to the philosophy of picking that DAW and hopefully to quell any conversation that might come up where people are getting into arguments over which DAW is best, because it's already happened on a couple of video comments. It's already happened in some of the questions that I'm getting from you asking about DAWs, and I really don't think it's as big of a deal as we make it out to be. From a sound perspective, I think a lot of these are identical. They treat sound the exact same way, with the possible exclusion of Harrison Mixbus, which is a really, really cool DAW, but they're not trying to create something perfectly digital. They're trying to recreate a console. But the rest of these countless DAWs, I don't even know the list of them. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of options, and one of them is going to suit you. But start doing your own research. Do you work with a lot of MIDI? Do you need to be able to record a whole lot of tracks simultaneously? Do you need a large track count to be able to mix with? Or are you cool with 16? Are you going to be using a lot of virtual instruments? Do you make beats and you need something that includes a ton of loops? These are questions that you can ask yourself that will really, really quickly narrow down that field for you. And I think for a lot of you watching this video, Pro Tools probably isn't the best option. There's probably something to fit your needs better. But that said, there is a free version of Pro Tools First. It's pretty limited in what it can do, but if you want to give Pro Tools a try and see if it fits your workflow, there you go. I will say, I know engineers and producers, a lot of them using Pro Tools. I know just as many who are using something that's not Pro Tools. Plenty of pro buildings are using Reaper. I think there used to be a stigma against that. I think that's primarily going away because people really don't care. Just like clients don't care what gear you're using to make them sound good. They care that they sound good. Period. End of story. There are those conversations, and I'm not gonna lie, I do get those phone calls where people will ask me what kind of software I'm using. And sometimes when you say Pro Tools or Pro Tools Ultimate, you get the, oh, well, you're a professional. And I'm not gonna lie, in a few of those conversations, I probably have used that to my benefit to get a gig or two. But ultimately, it really doesn't matter. Your work is going to speak for itself. There are those clients who are going to call and ask what software you use. But even if you want to lie to those people and say you use Pro Tools just to make them happy, they probably wouldn't know the difference as to what they're looking like on the screen, if we're being real. I'm just kidding. I did not just tell you to lie to your clients. Seriously, don't lie to your clients. So sorry for the misleading thumbnail and the misleading title, but this is something that we really need to get past. The DAW wars are stupid, and any discussion to which is better is really a moot point. You have no idea what the other person you're trying to critique, what their workflow looks like, or what their situation of recording looks like, what the needs of their building or home studio are. All that to say, when picking a DAW, do you? I'm Resident Loser Jeremy. If you like this one, hit that like button. If you want, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be doing a whole lot more of these. And let's be honest, you want to get notified every time I put out a video, because if they're as controversial as this one, that comment section is going to be delicious. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next one.